Now, have you ever felt we're not alone? Well, that there's some form of other life out there? Well, this next story is just for you then.
We've come across never-before-seen home video that cannot be explained. In it are what appear to be 2 UFOs. We sent our man Simon to investigate.
Now, Simon, these days those UFO stories seem to be kind of everywhere, right? What makes this one different to you?
Lads, look, oftentimes the people who present this footage aren't necessarily, shall we say, the most credible of witnesses. I think, you know, the odd ruer's loose in the top paddock. But in this case, this is really interesting. You make your own minds up.
What on earth are these 2 black shapes over the water? Nick Brent, who recorded them on his camcorder, would just love to know.
If you go out and you tell everybody what you've seen, they're going to think you're a fruitcake.
At 68, Nick isn't a man given to overstatement. A successful businessman, a grandfather, and with wife Janice, a contented cruise passenger that evening in Namur. He's not looking for money or notoriety.
I'm guessing if you were in the States, you'd be potentially making an awful lot of money out of this on Oprah or something like that, but we're very glad that you spoke to us.
Yeah, well, we're not in it for that, but I'm just really curious. I've got an open mind on the subject.
There's a lovely and a very Australian moment in all of the excitement.
There's 2 of them. They're not bloody birds. There's 2 of them.
I can see this movie being called They're Not Bloody Birds. I think that would be good.
Doug Moffat is spokesman for UFO Research New South Wales. When Nick returned from his cruise, Doug got the phone call.
I think one of the things that struck me about Nick was the sincerity and genuineness of who he is, and the fact that he was just genuinely curious to know what it was that he'd seen. There we have the first object with part of an island here. We have the second object coming in. You can see that they appear to be, this is far more cylindrical.
One of the theories that was proposed is maybe kite surfers. What do you say about that?
Well, I think this is moving far too fast to be a kite. Also, it has, one would imagine that a kite would have more of an opaque nature to the actual sheeting.
It really is the darndest thing. The more you see the roughly 40 seconds of footage, the more detail you pick up. There's no image manipulation, and definitely no easy explanation for these whatever they are.
We have to accept that people, genuine, credible people who are not stupid, who are not making things up, are seeing things that have no genuine explanation.
Where that point is over there, I'd say it was at least that. So I'm pitching at figures, but I think at least 1.5 kilometres.
We live in a time where cameras and video cameras are in phones and everywhere. Nick's footage will join a growing resource of vision that's in its own category.
What we need to do is, rather than laugh at it or dismiss it because it doesn't fit our paradigm, we need to sort of say, okay, what is it that this person's saying? Give this person the right to be believed.
I think, like many people, I want to believe in something else out there. Do a YouTube search for UFOs and just see what happens. It's fascinating to contemplate the prospect of other life forms. And while Nick and Doug know that this vision doesn't prove anything, you are left wondering.
And then when they started to move, the speed that they moved up past the back of this other boat, bit of a head scratcher. Yeah. We're not the only grain of sand on the beach, and I look at it from that point of view.
His battery ran out sort of halfway through that. So he got this roughly 40 seconds of footage, kind of went down to have drinks later that evening, you know, with everyone scratching. And a couple of other people said they saw something, but they weren't sure what it was. You know, I'm a bit of a skeptic with some of this stuff, but I am damned if I know what those things are.
We've ruled out kite surfing Somali pirates at this point.
Yes. And they do move very quickly as well. Like I say, you do have to watch that over and over and again, and then you actually see the strange sort of behaviour of these things and the size of them as well. See in the foreground there, you see the scale of that. That's a barge.
So it's not like a small sailboat or something like that?
No, absolutely moving far too fast.
So what are you saying then, Simon? I mean, you said you're a skeptic.
I'm completely cracking up, Mon.
Okay, do you believe this? You're a believer?
Look, I think having watched this, I have no idea what those are. They're not glad bags, as our director Jackie just possibly pointed out. I don't know what they are. I have no idea, Mon. Like I say, people will make their own minds up at home. But and Nick's like, you know, here's the footage. He didn't. We actually sought him out. Stephanie, our researcher, tracked him down, and he'd handed it over already to Doug. Didn't ask for any money. He said, look, you know, you guys might be interested in this. So.
Yeah, and that was in Noumea.
That's right.
Very nice. Any excuse for a junket, eh, Simon? I wonder where the next UFO sighting might be. The Maldives?
San Francisco would be good.
I've been on that. I remember on First Hour of the Fun Ship after a 4-hour happy hour, I saw some crazy stuff too. Didn't have the video camera handy. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you very much. Something to ponder. All right, after the break, she's back. The Chick Chick Boom Girl, made famous for lying.